From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, I'm Caitlin O, and here you're listening to 1680 The Crow. Here is your 10 a.m. news. A house on Garden City Road in Richmond was on fire this morning. Richmond Fire and Rescue was called at 6:15 this morning. Crews arrived on scene to find heavy smoke and flames coming from an abandoned house. Garden City Road between Audland Road and Alderbridge Way was closed earlier due to the fire. Burnaby Lougheed MLA and former Minister of Childcare announced yesterday that she will not seek re-election in the new year. In a statement, Chen says she will continue to work hard as MLA for the next year, and 2024 will be the 10th year for Chen to be in elected politics. She was first elected to the Legislative Assembly in 2017 and is the first Taiwanese Canadian elected to the BC cabinet. A new survey about Black Friday says more Canadians are planning to buy more this Black Friday than last year. Our reporter Sean Park has more information about how Canadians are planning to spend their money.
Ledger's latest survey on Black Friday says around 60% of Canadians did not buy anything on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. But they say that this year, around 40% are planning to buy something during the shopping season. On average, the survey says Canadians will spend around $370, even though more than half of the people were not impressed with the deals and discounts. The survey also lists that more than half of the purchases will be made online. Sean Park, 1680, The Crow.
Those are some of the stories we are covering today. Here's our producer, Jerson Orishan, with more stories we are looking at.
Casing today, the Trans Lake Mayor's Council announced their list of future transit projects. The Langley SkyTrain extension is forcing the closure of a 45-year-old white spot, and Vancouver City Council is proposing a property tax hike of 74.5%. Plus any breaking news that could be happening today. Back to you.
Thank you, Jerson. Artificial intelligence is set to disrupt an unpredictable amount of industries. Our reporter Kevin Pontius investigates if industries will see a rise in job creation because of it.
Artificial intelligence has been an unavoidable topic for the past decade. With technologies evolving at an exponential pace, many industries fear if artificial intelligence is going to take jobs away. According to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, 85 million jobs will be replaced by machines using AI by the year of 2025. While that statistic might make some uneasy, the same report states that 97 million new jobs will be created by 2025 due to AI. The report also stated that the industries that are expected to be replaced by machine learning is still highly debatable. Kevin Pontius, 1680, The Crow.
Whistler Blackcomb Resort opened this morning for the season. However, skiers and snowboarders are not finding a ton of snow on opening day. The resort is listing 57 centimeters of snow as of this morning, with hundreds of snow guns continuing to pump out snow. In a Tuesday news release, Whistler Blackcomb said available terrain on opening day will continue to make snow at every opportunity until the season. Qatar says a ceasefire in Israel-Hamas war will begin tomorrow. Aid will be going into Gaza as soon as possible, and Qatar's foreign minister spokesman Mahed al-Ansari told reporters in Doha that negotiators are in constant communication.
The need for us all to work together to make sure that this conflict is contained, and that we work together also to walk back from the 7th of October into a return to peace in the region. And therefore, we work with everybody, including the Iranians, to make sure that these messages get across.
The first group of hostages, including 13 women and children held by Hamas, will be freed tomorrow. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be meeting with the European Union leaders today in Newfoundland. Top European Union leaders will meet with Trudeau to discuss climate change issues, hydrogen, and the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. The summit will begin tonight with a dinner, with the majority of discussions planned for Friday. Now for the weather, it's 3 degrees and sunny in Burnaby right now. A high of 9 degrees is expected today, and temperatures will drop to 1. That was your 10 a.m. news. I'm Caitlin O, and you're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Hello and welcome to For the Record. I'm Kobe Smith, and on today's show we'll be talking about land acknowledgements and what they are and why is it important to do them. We have Elder Florence Williams from Squamish Nation to talk about land acknowledgements. So my first question is, what is a land acknowledgement?
It
is when a non-Indigenous person acknowledges that they live and or work on the unceded territory of, and then the nations that own that land prior to contact is given. So if it was in Vancouver, they would say the unceded territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations.
What is the purpose of the land acknowledgement?
You know, I've been thinking about that ever since the first time I heard it. I was born in the 50s, and in the 50s, 60s, 70s, non-Native people would look right through me or say something very derogatory if I happened to be in their way. In other words, they treated me like I was intruding on their, their country, their city, their land. And that Canada was for them, and that we were aliens, basically. So for me to hear somebody say that they recognize that they live and work on the unceded territory of my people, it literally blows my mind, because Canada, the British say they discovered, they conquered, they own this land, but we've been here, and we did not unwelcome them when they came. We were very welcoming, and basically we were seen as a hindrance, as something to annihilate, as something that would go away, because the British decided that this territory, this land, belonged to them. They didn't buy it from us. They just took it and treated us like we were aliens. And for me to grow up with that type of treatment, and then to hear people acknowledge that it is our territory, the first time I heard it, I was struck dumb. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to scream, hallelujah, it's about frickin' time. And then I didn't know how to act for the longest time. And so then the next response that came out of me was anger. And then after that was sadness. For a number of years, when I would hear it, I would just get sad, almost to the point of tears. But now when I hear it, I'm going, you're finally getting it right. So, and in that, me reconciling all of my feelings, I finally don't look at white people like I really would like to give them a little bit of cyanide. So I am happy that it's being done. I would like very much for people to actually hear it and understand what is being said. That yes, this was our home territory, and they are the aliens, they are the visitors, not us. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Why is it important to do land acknowledgements?
Well, just like when you go to a big sporting event or the Olympics or whatever, when they present the gold medal or the trophy, they play the anthem for that country that the athlete is from. So basically, to me, it's like they are acknowledging that it is our country. And I know that a lot of people, they don't really think about what they're saying. They're just doing it because they have to. But there are a few people that are really saying it and meaning what they're saying. And to me, that's a win. It is a win. It's a win, and I will take it.
So what is the difference between a protocol welcome and somebody, a guest that's on the land that does the land acknowledgement?
The land acknowledgement is by the non-native person, and a protocol welcome is done by somebody, a person from that territory. And basically what they're doing is formally acknowledging spirit, our ancestors, and formally letting them know the work that is going to be done at either at that meeting or the conference or, you know, the week, whatever it is that is going to be done. It's a formal declaration to spirit, to our ancestors.
So when is the right place to do a land acknowledgement and when is not the right place to do one?
If you're going to have a big meeting where there's going to be either employees or delegates or representatives that are going to be discussing things of significance to society, to begin it, you need to acknowledge the territory that you're on. And we have done that for eons. When we would go up a river on a canoe and we would be coming into somebody else's territory, we would not get out of our canoe unless we introduced ourselves and to the host, and they welcomed us. So that's basically what the land acknowledgement, that is a courtesy, a protocol that we have been doing. It's a very respectful way of beginning.
So here in Vancouver, when we do the land acknowledgement, we say unceded territories. And why do we say that?
Because they have not given us back our land, but they're acknowledging. They are acknowledging that at the beginning of time, this was our home, where all of these high rises and malls and everything belong to us. And no, they haven't given us deed to the land. We didn't need a deed. We just knew what territory was ours. And so they're recognizing that before them was us. That's the way I see it.
So some sport teams do land acknowledgements before the game is started. Do you think that is the right thing to do?
Absolutely. Because you're letting ancestors, spirit world, know that they are respectfully recognizing who belongs and who doesn't.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for doing this.
Oh, thank you for calling me. I really appreciate you asking me because it's given me time to think and make sense about all of my different ways of looking at it. And I am happy that we are now being seen where 300 years they did not want to see us. So thank you very much for asking me.
Thank you for listening to For the Record. I'm Kobe Smith. Stay tuned for more episodes produced by our BCIT students on 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good morning and welcome to the 10:30 a.m. newscast. I'm Kevin Pontius. Today is opening day at Whistler Blackcomb Ski Resort. American Thanksgiving is usually the weekend that marks the mountain opening. If you're keen to get up there, it might be worth checking the snow report first. So far, the resort is offering a limited amount of skiable terrain with a base of just 57 centimeters as of this morning. The mountain is using hundreds of snow guns to pump out as much man-made snow as possible. Black Friday has finally come. For all the deal lovers out there, a new survey has come out that says more Canadians will be participating this year than the year before. Our reporter Sean Park has more information on how Canadians are planning to spend their money this year.
Ledger's latest survey on Black Friday says around 60% of Canadians did not buy anything on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. But they say that this year, around 40% are planning to buy something during the shopping season. On average, the survey says Canadians will spend around $370, even though more than half of the people were not impressed with the deals and discounts. The survey also lists that more than half of the purchases will be made online. Sean Park, 1680, The Crow.
It might appear frightening to some, but residents in Vancouver are being advised not to be concerned if they hear what sounds like gunshots this weekend. The Seaforth military base will be conducting military drills near the old Molson Brewery on the south side of Burrard Bridge. Captain Graham Kane with the 39th Canadian Brigade said in a statement that no live ammunition will be used during the 2 days of training. The exercise will help the reserve unit play, prepare, and execute future operations in complex urban environments. Residents should also expect a high presence of people outfitted in military gear, but again, should not be alarmed. Burnaby healthcare workers who do house calls currently have to pay out of pocket for parking. A new petition has made its way to City Council that is hoping to change that. The hope is to get citywide residential parking passes to the workers that need them. BC General Employees Union Rep Paul Finch said in a statement that every minute a healthcare worker spends looking for parking is a moment they cannot help clients. Now time for an international news update. The Israeli Defense Force and Hamas have come to an agreement to begin a ceasefire at 4 p.m. on Friday. Jordana Miller of ABC has more information on the ceasefire.
Qatari officials announcing a Gaza ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has been finalized. Both sides will put down their weapons early Friday morning at 7 a.m. local time for a 4-day temporary ceasefire. Hamas set to hand over 13 hostages, all Israeli women and children, at 4 p.m. Friday. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office confirming they have the list of those 13 hostages. They will be the first of 50 expected to be freed. Israel is set to gradually release 150 jailed Palestinian women and minors. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
A catastrophic flood has struck communities throughout Somalia. Residents have nowhere to hide as intense flooding from rainfall exacerbated by El Niño continues to blanket the nation. Karen Kamas of the Associated Press has more details.
Residents of the central Somali town of Beledweyne waded and swam through the flooded streets, which had become more like flowing rivers. Hakima Mohammed Harid, a mother of 4, including one who's disabled, said she fled with her family to Beledweyne to escape battles between the extremist group Al-Shabaab and Somali government forces. She told the AP, "All our belongings were washed away by the floods, so we escaped only with our lives." They're not alone. According to the humanitarian group Save the Children, the flooding has forced an estimated 250,000 people, or 90% of Beledweyne's population, out of their homes. I'm Karen Chamas.
Now time for weather. It is currently 5 degrees and sunny without a cloud in the sky here in Burnaby. For those looking to go golfing, there may be some frost delays as the temperatures dropped to near freezing last night. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, we can expect mostly sun until Saturday. Although it's expected to be sunny all weekend, do bundle up as the low is 1 degree. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening. I'm Kevin Ponnies.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
respectfully acknowledge that we are situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations.
All right.
Get ready, on your toes.
Growing up, like native tournaments was like a big thing for my parents, and they're the ones that showed me how to play soccer.
As much as Penelope Sparrow is on track to reaching new levels of professional soccer, she does not forget where it all came from.
And they'd bring me around until it got to a point where I was 4 years old, and we put on a pair of cleats and started playing. And I'd be there right by their side, learning with them. And that's kind of where I started. And it just kept going on. I got put in a couple leagues growing up, and I just grew to love it. I was about 13, and that's when I knew I truly loved the sport. Like, it was more than just kicking the ball, like you said. It was more of like a family, us together.
So to welcome you to our territory, which is known as UBC, which is known as Vancouver.
For Thompson Nelson, it's important for him to reflect on his roots while mentoring the next generation of Indigenous athletes.
It was just built into our family. And so from the time I could walk, my dad was throwing a soccer ball at me and just go out and have fun. And he was a traveling kind of traditional artist, merchant salesman, so we'd go to all the soccer tournaments across Vancouver Island, as well as over here on the mainland in the Indigenous circuit. So I just grew up around watching it, playing it, and just watching every aspect of it. And so I really fell in love with it, and every morning I'd go and just watch with him.
Both Thompson and Penelope are currently working with Hope and Health, coaching the younger generation at the UBC Thunderbird Stadium.
Hope and Health is a sport for social impact organization that works specifically with Indigenous children and youth and their communities to develop life and leadership skills. It's about creating a program that's accessible within Indigenous communities. As a result of colonization, programs haven't been accessible, nor have they been created that are culturally safe for Indigenous children and youth. So we wanted to close that gap. We really have been working on creating the pathway from those young, talented athletes that aspire to go pro or play to an elite level as high as they can go. When we had the opportunity to consider to take ownership over the League One BC Varsity FC team, it just made total sense that that would allow us to create that piece, which is the semi-professional, high-performance level. So then we can work with our communities as young as 3, 5 as little champions, all the way through their journey to Natsama FC.
Varsity FC was run by UBC Athletics, but Hope and Health purchased the rights and has rebranded as Natsama FC. Perhaps due to a lack of representation, many Indigenous athletes struggle on their journeys, often giving up.
So we're on the Musqueam field, where I grew up to love soccer. I always feel safe here, comfortable. I know when I've had a long day or a hard day, I try to do other things like art, track, all the other sports, but soccer was always something that I couldn't live without. When they think of soccer, they don't think of us, and obviously that's very hard because growing up, that was my FIFA. Going to tournaments, watching it, it was my FIFA. Like, that was my World Cups. Watching them play, it was like other players I couldn't see in TV. And the kind of passion and like support we have, it should be noticed. You don't see any native players, obviously. And it was just a battle. It's just like, am I trying, like, am I doing enough? Am I gonna achieve anything. Like, I didn't see anybody like me. So it was obviously really tough. It's just like, am I there for nothing? Am I doing this all for nothing? Like, there's nobody, I had nobody to like look up to.
One significant kind of moment for me was in high school. I was about 14, and I wasn't, like I said, I was a late bloomer. I was a bit out of shape, I guess, plumper than some of the other boys. And we had these fitness tests to introduce us into the high performance leagues, like for example, like NOTSMA and like UVic, the Union Upton University. And I failed this fitness test. I guess not failed, but I just didn't do well. So that was really significant for me because I was bullied for that, and it felt pretty bad. So then I did that for a year, and then I came back the next year and nobody recognized me. I slimmed out, I got better. People thought I was an exchange student until I said my name. And then I came back and did that same fitness test, and I was in the top 2. I got like level 12 or something. But I think one of the lowest points, it's not a low point, but something you just kind of live with, was, like I said, my dad passed away when I was 7. And he was one of my biggest role models. And I'm thankful for my uncle taking over and like raising me as one of his own too. But like not having that male figure to really be like, good job, son, or like, you know, like, saying like, good job, son, or like everybody had their dads there. And me, after I finished a game, I'd just look into the stands, and sometimes I'd have family, sometimes I wouldn't, and then it'd be like kind of like a little, you sit in the change room, you give yourself like a little self vibe, or like, and sometimes it's just nice to have that outer, I don't know, just a little nudge like, hey, you're doing well, just you're on the right path kind of thing. Because sometimes you just don't know, you get lost along the way, and sometimes you need that little push. But I'm grateful for everybody in my life and who have brought me and raised me to bring me to this opportunity. But in essence of barriers, like there definitely is barriers out there. And it can be a struggle, but you just gotta be proud, like don't fall into negativity. Like if somebody has something bad to say about you, just brush it off and just keep moving forward in a positive way. Because as an Indigenous youth, like we're representing our community, not just ourselves. Like it takes a village to raise a child. Like for me as an example, I had uncles, aunties, coaches, a plethora of people that like help support me. And it really shows like growth and development. And you're just there to represent your people to the best of your abilities and just make whoever proud and yourself proud, more importantly, and then just walk in a good way.
I was sitting in bed, not doing nothing, and then I got the call from Jesse. I was just amazed. It felt like my dreams were coming true. My journey was it felt like it was just a fresh start. Like, I was excited. I couldn't even think. I was speechless. When I was talking to him, I didn't even know what I said. I blacked out. Like, it was just, I was like, oh my God, like, I already know what this is gonna bring, and I'm so excited. Like, I can't even express the emotions.
And when I found out, I was like, okay, this is something cool. This is a big step. Like, let's just go and take the plunge, see what happens. So I came here, and the group was very welcoming, and it was just nice to be in just such a high level. And right away, you could notice the jump. It was faster, people were smarter, the play was just intense. But I loved every minute of it, and I loved seeing if I can rise to the challenge. Oh, what a finish, all right. And when I got that call to come back for more tryouts, and then that final assessment that I made the squad, it was over the moon. I didn't really know how to like react. I was on the ferry trying not to like laugh out loud. I had this like big smirk because I was sitting next to people I didn't know, and I was like, I had to go outside and just like take a breath of fresh air. But it was just awesome, just because just for a moment of like, that's it. This is a big moment just to like prove Indigenous players have capabilities and opportunities to show talent, because there's a lot that fall through the cracks that just don't get that opportunity. And sometimes all you just need is that one, or even that one person that believes in you. And I'm hoping this platform of NOTSMA, and even me just being here, will show other Indigenous youth and other players that you can do it. You just dedication, hard work, and lots of just faith, and just reaching out to, like putting yourself out there, and not being afraid of like the racial barriers or like people doubting you that you can't do it.
For sure. Nice dribbling. Almost. We have a wide. We've been hidden for a long time, overlooked. We don't really get noticed like this, and such an opportunity like this, I can't hold back, express how I play, show how I play. Like playing with like First Nations, it's a different game.
To date, Notsamont FC has signed 11 Indigenous players across the men's and women's teams, including 5 Indigenous assistant coaches. Their inaugural season begins April 29th at Swangard Stadium.
One, two, three!
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Welcome back to 1680 The Crow. I'm Caitlin O, and here is your 11 a.m. news. Surrey RCMP are asking the public for information about an armed robbery that happened at a Newton business yesterday morning. One person is in hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. At approximately 11:08 yesterday, officers received a report of the armed robbery at a business located in the 8100 block of 128th Street. Surrey police say the suspects fled in a dark-colored pickup truck. Anyone with information is asked to contact Surrey RCMP. The first phase of TransLink's Access for Everyone plan was approved this morning. TransLink's Mayor Council met for their monthly council meeting where they agreed on a plan for the new expanded transit services. Increased services are aimed to accommodate population growth and to have affordable housing close to transit hubs. TransLink's council will be sending a submission to the Federal Minister of Finance to join the province to make a funding plan. Members of the Vancouver-based Seaforth Highlanders Regiment will be taking part in training this weekend. Vancouver residents are advised to not be concerned if they see armed military or hear gunfire around the former Molson Coors Brewery in West Vancouver. The exercise is scheduled to start at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday and wrap up by 6 p.m. Captain Graham Kane with the 39th Canadian Brigade Group says no live ammunition will be used in the training. He says the exercise will help with the reserve unit plan to prepare and execute any further operations in urban environments. Indigenous students can sometimes face racism in classrooms. Our reporter Kobe Smith explains.
Some Indigenous students in classrooms sometimes can face racism or feel uncomfortable. Shelby Woida, the Vice President of Equity and Sustainability, explains what she heard stories from students.
So originally, when I kind of started here, I had heard stories from some of my Indigenous peers on their personal experiences in the classrooms, and a lot of them had experienced racism, like directly from their instructors, and like not just peers as you would think.
After hearing the stories, Shelby wanted to decolonize the classrooms at BCIT to make Indigenous students feel more comfortable in the classrooms. Kobe Smith, 1680, The Crow.
The kimchi market is growing in Canada. Our reporter Sean Park has more details.
According to the people involved in the kimchi business, the market is growing steadily. One of the importers bringing kimchi into Canada says the market has grown 3 times over the past 10 years. They say it is already expanding into the mainstream market like the Canadian Superstore and Safeway. According to Statistica, Canada imported around $3.7 million worth of kimchi last year. Both the importers and the grocery store that sells kimchi says the rise in popularity of Korean pop songs, drama, and culture helped greatly expand their sales of kimchi. Sean Park, 1680, The Crow.
And ChatGPT has recently become a major talking point in the world of economics. Writers and actors have gone on strike due to the power of its capabilities. Our reporter Kevin Pontius spoke to an expert in technology to find out more.
We're just over a week away from the 1-year anniversary of ChatGPT being released for public use. Many people fear this technology and are concerned that it could potentially take away their job. Peyton Desi is a software developer who works with a chatbot every day and gave us his thoughts on the subject.
What its limitations may be, though, is that it can't build an entire system. Building a piece of software is kind of like building a house. Like you have plumbing, you have the painting, the finishing, and ChatGPT isn't going to be able to design a house and build it completely.
At least for now, ChatGPT isn't going anywhere without us humans. Kevin Pontius, 1680, The Crow.
And in international news, 3 young children and a woman are injured in Dublin's city centre after a suspected stabbing attack. The incident took place outside a school where one person of interest was also injured. The Irish National Police spokesperson says they are investigating. And for the weather, it's 6 degrees and sunny in Burnaby right now. That was your 11 a.m. news. I'm Caitlin O, and you're listening to 680.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.